Namaste friends and welcome to Ayurvedic Lifestyle Tips with Lala. In today's episode, we will be making digestive spice blends to balance each of the doshic types, Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Working with and getting to know herbs and spices is one of the great joys of my life. Ever since I can remember, with my father being Indian, and growing up in a family, within a family that enjoys eating and cooking, exotic aromas and fragrances were and continues to be part of daily living. Aromas have a direct passageway up into the brain and ties intimately with memories. India is known the world over for its wide array and abundant use of colorful and flavorful herbs and spices. What is perhaps less known is India's rich history and sophisticated use of herbs and spices as medicine. This is a big part of the science of Ayurvedic medicine and is a huge topic. Shortly, we will prepare digestive spice blends to balance each of the doshas with the intention that you'll make your own and use them for self-healing. Firstly, we need to distinguish between an herb and a spice. Herbs are the green leafy parts of a plant, as in cilantro, parsley, oregano, basil, and thyme. And spices can be the root, the stem, the seed, the fruit, and flower or bark of a tree or a plant, as in cinnamon, ginger, star anise, or turmeric. In Ayurveda, a person's digestive capacity or state of agni is foundational to health. If it's strong, foods will be digested, assimilated, and absorbed properly. And if weak, toxicity or ama will build up in the body and the mind. Healthy digestion is determined by the quality and regularity of stools and how you feel after eating. Gas, bloat, and abdominal pain, although common, are not normal. Ayurveda is a nature-based science built up around the 5 elements. Foods, including herbs and spices, are categorized based on their elemental makeup with inherent qualities. And we are categorized in that way too. A foundational principle in Ayurveda is that the opposite qualities pacify. So with the herbal spice blends that we'll make today, we will use the opposite qualities of the dosha that we are treating, and in that way harmonize the digestion and in turn create healthy tissues. Use these spice blends to sprinkle on foods or use as the flavoring in your dahl, your kitchari, or other doshic-balancing meals. These recipes are from the book Eat, Taste, Heal, and please see the show notes for more details. So we'll start with the Vata spice blend. Vata predominant people tend to run cold and dry, so our spice blend needs to be warming and moistening. So you can either use a coffee grinder or a Vitamix. So in here goes 2 tablespoons of fennel seeds, 1 tablespoon of coriander seeds, 1 tablespoon of cumin seeds, 1 tablespoon of turmeric, and this is powdered turmeric, 1 tablespoon of dried basil, and this is basil from my garden that I dried in my garage, so about a tablespoon here goes in. And then 2 teaspoons of ginger, dried ginger. Dried ginger is much warmer, hotter than fresh ginger. So we'll put in 2 teaspoons. And then asafoetida, which we have worked with in the past, also called hing. And as you know, I keep it inside this little glass jar because it is so pungent in flavor that it will affect everything that it's near. But so we'll use 1 teaspoon of that. And it is the resin from a plant in the fennel family. It has so much flavor. So 1 teaspoon goes in. And then also salt. But we won't add the salt in here because that will start to rust the grinder. So we'll add in that afterwards. So we'll just put the lid on and pulse it so that the spices get ground. Beautiful. This is a brand new grinder, so it's super powerful. And that worked out just beautifully. And then we can transfer it into a glass container. We'll just add that in here. Or you could do it into a little sprinkler bottle so that you can sprinkle it on your food. So we'll put that in here. And then we do need to add our 2 teaspoons of salt. Okay, not the most efficient way, but there we go. And then the salt. And then we just can stir that up or shake it up, and then it's ready to use. It's best to use for freshness within 1 month. So here's our Vata balancing spice blend. So now on to our Pitta balancing spice blend. Pitta predominant types tend to run hot. So this spice blend is cooling in nature. We will start with 2 tablespoons each of cumin, coriander, and fennel. And if you remember, this is also the CCF that we've made previously that harmonizes digestion and is tri-doshic, which means that it's balancing to all 3 doshas. And in the past, we made a tea out of that. I'll put in the show notes below a reference to that video. And then we'll add in 2 tablespoons of mint. One tablespoon of whole cardamom seeds. I did not have that, but I do have this powder here. So 1 tablespoon goes in. And I am just gazing down at my notes here, you guys, so that I can make sure that I make the right recipe here. But I'm using a little bit less just because this is already powdered. And then 1 tablespoon of ground turmeric. So you can see we're adding in a lot of beautiful flavor into these mixes. Salt is quite heating. That's why we're not going to be using salt in this particular spice mix here. And that's it. So we grind that up again and we pulse it until it gets ground. All right, beautiful. Oh my goodness, so fragrant. All right, and this time we can put it into this sprinkler bottle. So you see it has the little holes there for easy use. And we'll just see if we can get that in. You know, in Ayurveda too, they will just take these herbs and blend them with a little bit, stir them into a little bit of water and drink before your meals to support digestion. Ooh, almost fits in there. And look, perfect. So then you could just use that with your meals or take with you and use when you're out and about. All right, so now on to Kapha. Kapha tends to run cold and damp, so we want a spice blend that is hot and drying. So we'll use a little bit more heating spices this time. We'll start with 2 tablespoons of coriander seeds, which is the seed from the cilantro plant. Not sure if you know that. Also, cilantro is also called Chinese parsley. we'll use 1 tablespoon of cumin. So you see how these 3 herbs go again, gets repeated, cumin, coriander, and fennel. But this time we'll use fenugreek. Fenugreek is more drying. And we'll use 1 tablespoon. Has a lot of flavor. 1 tablespoon of ground ginger, which as I mentioned, is very heating. And 1 tablespoon will definitely add some heat. 1 tablespoon of turmeric. It's beautiful ground turmeric here, which adds so much beautiful color. 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. Cinnamon is considered a circulatory stimulant, so it warms up the blood and helps with circulation. So very good for Kapha and also Vata nature people. So 1 tablespoon of powdered cinnamon. 1 tablespoon of dried sage leaves, and this is also from my sage plant. We'll put that in, about 1 tablespoon here. Sage is quite drying in its nature. And then 1 teaspoon of ground clove. And clove is very hot and drying. It's one of the hottest spices that we use, very drying too. So just 1 teaspoon. There we go. And then our last ingredient is cayenne or chili powder, and that's half a teaspoon. So you see, this is quite a hot mix compared to the other ones. So this would definitely be too hot and drying for a Pitta constitution. All right, let's see where that little mark is. Put the lid on and grind that up. All right. So beautiful. Whew, just got that up my nose. I don't quite have a container to put that in currently, but it is so beautiful. I do hope that you'll give these spice blends a try and find creative ways of using them. As always, I hope that this was helpful to you, and I'll see you next time. Namaste, friends. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you find inspiration through this channel to live a healthier, more joyous, and more fulfilled life. That is certainly my intention. If so, please click the subscribe button and the bell if you'd like to know when new videos are featured. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.